I want to talk to you today about charities. I think most of us know that charities, big charities, have been going wrong for some time. It seems that the only people who haven't really noticed it are government. What a surprise that is. But everybody down the pub knows that it's gone wrong, and it went wrong some time ago. It's just come to a head now with Oxfam, with these sort of sexual allegations and so on and so forth, but that's not the point. I'm not going to go down the sort of tabloid salacious route. What I want to do is just explore the problem that we've had, and the problem has been around for too long. First of all, most of these charities get big payoffs from government, via government agencies or via the EU. Now, I don't want people taking my tax to give to charities of their choice. I'm a Brit, and like most Brits, we give more per capita to charity than any other nation. We all do our bit for charity, probably. Middle England, I know I do, and I'm sure you do too. Don't take my money to give to these charities. I can select my own charities. Don't take my tax. So let's stop giving the taxpayers money to some of these charities, where sometimes, on average, no more than 50% of what we contribute to these charities actually lands up where it's supposed to be. And you've only got to look at some of these charities, haven't you? David Miliband is being paid $500,000 a year to run a refugee charity in New York. The World Wildlife Fund, save the whales, save the pandas, save all the sort of thing, and their chief executive is on £400,000 a year. It's the same with the RSPCA. They're all on bigger, Save the Children. They're all massive, massive salaries, these chief executives. And if you challenge them, they say, oh, well, we need this kind of money. We've got to spend this kind of money to attract the sort of talent that we need. And charity is not out of line with the other charities. I don't think it's a good idea, just because all charities are ripping the punters off, that it's a good idea to say, well, everybody else does it. It's not good enough. And of course they say, oh, we've got these wonderful people that run our charities and we need them, we need to get the best. Well, David Miliband's a failed politician. The people who run the RSPCA are failed Liberal Democrat politicians, if that's not a tautology. So most of these people are placemen, political activists, so on and so forth. They're not particularly clever people. They're not particularly good at their job. They're in the right place at the right time. And it's the same with the quangos that give them the money. So the whole thing's a merry-go-round of public money. It's a disgrace, and it's got to stop. And I would counsel the royal family, if you grant a royal prefix to a charity, I would suggest you have a good, long, hard look if the chief executive is getting more than £100,000 a year. So I think perhaps if you have a good, close look, I think that would be very helpful. I would say the same thing to the Charity Commission. Same thing to the Charity Commission. If a chief executive of a charity is getting more than £100,000 a year, I'd strike them off the charitable list. They'd get right off the charitable list. That's far too much money, and it's ripping off the public. So I think we need a complete review. I think I'll give you a tip, if I may be so impertinent to give you a tip. First of all, don't give any of your money to a charity where the chief executive earns more money than you do. Golden rule. Golden rule. And if you just Google it up, you can find out how much the chief executives earn, and you will be disgusted and horrified. So make that job number one. Don't give any money to these crooks and scoundrels in the big charities. There's plenty of good small charities in your neighbourhood, desperate for money, run by volunteers, scraping together, just about getting by. They need your money. They need your money. Go and find them. You might already know who they are. But don't give any more of your money to these monster charities. All you're doing is funding massive lifestyles for chief executives of them. And it just is disgraceful. I'm horrified by it. And I'm glad that the bad behaviour of the Oxfam people has brought it once more into the public domain.